like a GoPro.
No, you're good. Thank you. Alright, we're in black.
Ethan.
Yeah. I can run in there and do it while we're in.
Yep. Okay.
These should be all in order.
What's the red and what's the green?
Red is motion. Green is still.
Oh, so that's just, I just double click it.
How
and
is
take
it
in.
360?
Yes.
And gray
How
is
is it 360?
Gray is flips, yes.
One minute.
Well, there's a camera on this side, there's one on that side.
Is there anything on these sides?
No, but it looks like it like goes all the way around. Like it looks like the lens like follows you when you go from like the side. Because it looks like it's angled this way. But then as soon as I'm this way, it looks angled this way. Yeah. Sorry.
40.
40 seconds.
Yes, it should be. To the
Okay.
best of my knowledge, yes.
Holy Lord, okay. But honestly,
30.
30.
30 seconds.
Okay.
NFL channel.
Alright. You said no intro?
No intro.
Okay.
So they're gonna go up and then do their lower
20.
thirds,
Okay.
and then
Alright, we're going straight to our talent, correct?
15.
15.
15.
Again, remember.
So the first one's gonna be a motion graphic.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
To the host. Unmute them. Alright, Julia, go for it.
As always,
Beautiful. That was really cute.
What do we
Go
got?
with a fist bump.
Well, the football team took a road trip. The soccer and volleyball teams look to continue their
Alright,
winning
what's next,
ways.
Julia?
And the basketball teams have a
Next
little bit
is
of
going to
surprise for us,
be,
with both schedules
This is
dropping.
Very
one of the
excited to talk
things
about
on that
their
board.
schedules. And Michael Deamer
It's
is
a
here
Danny
to
Barker
break down
gym
small
bump.
football talk with you, but we're going to kick the show off with soccer today.
Then there's
No gym bump, no
also,
gym
there's
bump.
also a still that
No
goes
gym
with
bump.
it. No gym bump? Take it out.
Last
Right.
week they won all 3 of their games with a combined score of 13.
Then the next thing you have is going to be a full screen.
They
Yeah.
opened up Horizon League play versus Green Bay. Last year the teams
Ready?
tied
I'm
at
going to
Let's see
Colby
if they can
Solo.
open up the conference play
It's
with a win.
A5 is what you need the, what's it called thing in? Graphic?
Yeah, take a
And
graphic.
Kevin, they ended up with a tie today. It was a very close back and forth game.
No, it should be the one below that, right there. Go ahead,
Just
take it.
a very close
Why
fought
is it in
All right, it's
Flag.
fine. Go ahead.
Alright.
played game, and another tie, Colby. They've been doing a lot lately.
As you can see,
Huh?
we share the football package with you. 5 total shots for the Phoenix.
What football packet? Colby's.
Emily
No.
with
What
one
are we
shot.
going next,
Emily
Nate?
finished with 1 shot. 17.
Should be UMBC.
UMBC, okay. That is also a, is that KP or Colby?
Yeah, KP.
Yeah,
Okay,
teams
do you want me to
playing a
take
lot of
this
very
out?
good defense
Oh, yeah.
lately. They've
No.
won a lot of teams to 0 or 1 goal. It's just something that
Let me
Kershaw
know when
wants
you
to
want me to take
capitalize
it
on.
out.
He wants to capitalize on all the opportunities that are given, and just this time they weren't. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do so.
UMBC Kevin.
More from Coach Shaw.
Can I take this
That's
out?
right. And earlier this week, actually on Sunday, the
Alright, you
women's
take the
soccer team
graphic
looked to
now.
continue their winning ways against the UMBC Retrievers.
Since
Let's see if
original
they
one.
were able to do so.
Go
Are
play.
you sure? Yeah,
No,
that's what it's
cool.
in.
They did win this game by a score of 1-0. They
Wait,
actually.
the
No,
fuck?
that's the
It
wrong
was a
thing.
really,
There's not
really
another
nice
one.
goal. Oh, here we are. We have the highlights right here.
Hang on. No,
And we're gonna pick up
Not
the
it.
action.
Should be the next
In
one down.
15
This?
minutes.
Nope.
That's the only thing I have. I have A14.
Oh my god.
What the
Bit of a surprise there with Cam Wick.
Take it out. Just let them talk.
With line for it.
Okay, I
That's
don't
right.
think, sorry, I don't
Literally,
have.
But as you were saying, it was.
We were picking action up in the 15th minute. The Colonials were on the offensive. They had it down in the far corner for most of the game, and
Was
the ball
It
was
should be
in the middle
either,
of the
it should be
field.
A9 or
Haley
A10.
tried
It
to
should be
score, but she's
A10.
not able
See,
to.
I don't
The
have
lone
an
goal
A10,
here
I
actually
have an
comes
A9.
in
Okay,
the
then he
37
never
minute
rendered
mark.
those clips.
Actually, his 30-minute mark. It has Paloma Swankler in the corner. She gets it in the middle and finds Caleb Valusalima for actually a really nice goal, kind of an alley-oop, one-time type situation. And that's actually
Is
the
it
only goal
Sean
of the
Lightness?
game.
No, Cam, what,
By a score of 1-0.
women's soccer package.
Women's soccer, so A12.
Now, as we were talking about, the women's soccer teams off
Yeah.
to their best
Okay.
starting
So
program.
that's in Server Channel 1.
Cam Wick might put on his football boots, as Ethan Morrison loves to say.
Awesome.
He broke down what the teams have done well so far. Cam, let's kick it.
The Robert Morris women's soccer team is off to the best start in program history. Colonial Sports Center talked to Coach Chris Shaw to get his thoughts. The women's soccer team is off to a 5-0-3 start to the season.
Dude, we
This is the
have
same program that has
A15.
struggled the last few years,
Yes.
but
the
Coach Shaw knows
NKU
that Rome
lights,
wasn't built
whatever.
in a day.
Yeah.
It's been a 3-year process
By
to
the
get
way,
here. It's
2
not
minutes
something
in
that
the
happens
package.
overnight.
Alright.
And again, we're a long way
Going
from a
back to
finished
Colby
product, right?
Solo.
We're still, young and trying to get there, but I feel like we're
yeah, good
making
movie.
strides in the right
You still
direction. I
need
think
It
it's
should
gotten
have the
better,
shot in there on the right
each of the
side.
3
It
years,
does.
and
I'm
hopefully that will just
Okay, yeah.
continue moving
talking
forward.
to you.
One noticeable difference
still
in the
need
team this
8-14?
year from years past has been an
There's-
embarrassment
No,
of
that's
coaches
that's
off the
the
bench.
thing for the big
With
screen
two
down
of the
there.
top
we're
4
not
point
using
scorers
it.
on
We're
the
not
team
using
coming
it.
off the
Hey,
bench.
let
Coach
them know
Shaw knows that
downstairs
there
we're
was
not
no drop
using
off
the
when his
jib
starters
right
need a
now.
breather.
We're not using
Yeah,
it.
that's been the biggest difference for us
1:30.
this year is just the depth that we have.
And minutes
You
are
know,
relative.
Gabby
Yeah,
can
so
come
yes,
off the
we have
bench
8-15.
and make things happen. You know, Caleb Velosa-Lima's come off the bench and scored some goals for us. Paloma comes off the bench and gives us energy. You know, as well as a number of other players that we can utilize. So from that standpoint, I mean, having depth is always huge.
Goalie
have a
Isabella
jib
Bowman
frame,
has been a
like,
stalwart in
like,
net all season, allowing just
Yeah,
4
it's gonna
goals in
work.
8
So
games,
what the
good
jib
for
is
half a
is
goal
that-
a game.
So like
Coach Shaw said that
8-14
having a
would be
good
the jib.
goalkeeper does more than
Jib
just keep the other team off
Right.
the board.
Yeah, I mean,
1 minute.
anytime your back line has confidence in the goalkeeper, it's a huge boost. Bella's been fantastic this year. She's playing with confidence.
Do we
You
win
know, it does make a huge difference to have a presence back there and some leadership and someone that the players feel confident with and behind them.
Despite the early season success, Coach Shaw says that there are still things to work on. The best start in program history is nice, but Coach Shaw says his goal is to have the best finish in program history. When asked what his team can do to raise a trophy at the end of the
30
season,
seconds.
he had this to say.
I know what we can do to give ourselves the best chance is, you know, we gotta start finishing our opportunities, right? Like if we're gonna outshoot a team 17-5 and 9-1, we've gotta put a goal away, right? We've got to finish our chances
15.
and just gotta start being a little bit more clinical in front of goal and taking the chances that we create.
10.
The women's soccer team tied Green Bay today with the score of 0-0. They look to continue their success against Milwaukee next Sunday in Milwaukee. With Colonial Sports Center, I'm Cam Whitman.
Are we using that?
Can't afford
8-14,
that. Now,
you know.
let's switch that to the men's soccer team.
Then
Not
this
off to a great
clip
start.
for A15 is going in.
West Virginia, Duquesne.
He's
We
very
have
quiet.
Chloe's audio.
They're looking to get their first win of the year, and they were looking to beat Northern Kentucky. Let's see if they could finally get off the schneid in this one. And we're going to pick it up at the North Athletic Complex Center here
Minute
early
30.
on. And Kevin, watch this play by Darren Armstrong. He's going to get the pass here, and then he's just going to kick it around, and then go split the defense,
After this,
little curve, and then just toss it in the back. Kevin,
Christ.
I don't even know what to say.
Just a bunch of white jerseys there. It's surprising that nobody can stop him, but still a really nice goal from the scorer. We gotta look at that again.
Now, I wonder if we're going to see this on top five. But look at him just dump it in the back of the net.
I mean, it was just too easy.
Too easy. Let's move on.
1
Second half.
minute
Chase Gibbons, we're going to talk about it a little bit later. He's going to toss it in.
I don't have an A17.
Hugo Kadima is going to take it, and he's going to move
I
around.
don't
He's
have
in
an
here,
A17.
and then just whoop. And
It's labeled
one more
A12.
game now. And they're finally
Oh, I just took that.
It's
didn't
the
I?
men's
Yeah,
soccer
absolutely.
package.
Just a nice goal.
Didn't I
The team
take that
celebrating.
No,
It's
it's
nice
labeled
to
the
tie the
men's
game
soccer
up. And
package.
Okay, I
Maybe-
just took the
Now
women's
Now
soccer
watch this.
package.
Kelvin Ramirez,
that's not the-
he's going to
No,
get it
Angel
over the back
was
of the
the soccer.
and around the net. You'd love
We
to
don't
see
have-
celebrations.
No,
like
we
this.
do.
It's so often you see someone run around the back of the net. We have the entire team celebrating. It's a mob scene
Just
down there.
labeled
And as you
soccer
see, the
package.
Colonials finally
30
going to win
seconds.
2-1.
Okay,
Kelvin
I'll
Ramirez
put it
with
in.
the
I don't know if I already put it in
1-0
or
in a
not.
rising
You did it.
play.
Okay, alright.
Now the Colonials were able to get that first win and outlast the Norse.
20.
Our very own Bethany Naughton sits down
Alright,
and
can we get the package?
goes a
Oh,
little bit more in
yeah,
depth on that
here,
first
let me-
win and what it means for the team.
Here you
Bethany,
go.
take it away.
Yeah,
Never
that.
mind, take it out.
Take it out. Where? I don't have that one.
We're gonna
Unmute
get the
Colby.
thing on up there for you. But Kevin, what are we thinking so far with 1-0 in conference play for the men's soccer team?
Yeah, I mean,
You
hey,
want
if you're
that
gonna win
full
games,
screen
make it for
for
conference
A19?
games. And a
Hold on,
certain
just give me 1
someone got co-Horizon Player of the Week thanks to his
Now.
performance in that
Now?
game. His
Yeah.
name is none other than
Okay,
Chase
take it.
Gilly. He had 2 assists,
It's
and
a
they were
full
on
screen.
those goals. And he was actually
Is
named
it
the
clip one?
co-Horizon League
Yeah.
Player
Alright.
of the Week. And, you know, Coach O'Keefe's always talking about you earn your opportunity, and he certainly has, and you earn the reward based on what you put out on the field, and he's earned his reward, Offensive Player of the Week, Co-Player of the Week
The next
in the
thing I have
Horizon
is
League,
A20. Is
the
that
first
okay?
one of the year.
Yeah, it's our lower third.
Yeah, okay. Is that what you
Take
want?
it
Though
out.
they haven't won
Take
a lot of
this
games,
out.
have been in close games back and forth, but finally getting off the snag.
Kevin tossed.
1-0 conference play now.
And
they're
then
doing
this
pretty good.
is
That's right.
that
Well,
motion
when we come
ground.
back,
Alright,
Michael
take
Dina wants
lower
to break
third.
down some football, and
Have to-
we see if the volleyball team can continue their winning ways. Stick around. on
Take it
Colonial
out.
Sports Center.
Oh god.
Commercial.
Ah, hang on. There you go. It's in.
The death of George Floyd, who died
Sorry.
in police custody
I
Monday.
don't know what the hell's
Turning
happening.
my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation. It's going to take more than just us, you know, as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to help us make a change. Because it just can't be us.
And then can I get the graphic? Yeah, give me 1 second. What the fuck?
Still rendering?
Yes.
Alright.
You gotta look at the camera.
40 seconds in
We're starting with Bailey. We're starting with the solo shot on
forest
Bailey.
and music inspired by nature.
Is it that full screen graphic version?
Yeah, it should be the football full screen.
I don't know how that's gonna go. I also have no idea how long it's in your 25. Alright. 15.
15 seconds. Bailey, if that package isn't ready, we're gonna go to the double
No,
box.
yeah, go-
You're gonna have to go to the double box
It's
first.
not ready. 8, 7, okay, the double box isn't quite ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's the.
Welcome back
I'm
to
putting the
Colonial
full
Sports.
screen. Double
Now we're
box
gonna
isn't
head
quite
over
ready.
to soccer
Um,
football for you. As
having
the
problems
football
building
team
it.
is 0-1 as they fell to date in the first
Sorry,
game
I'm
of the
trying to
season.
double box.
Now they're looking for one. It took a bit of a long drive to Oxford, Ohio, home of the Miami of Ohio Red Hawks. And I'll break that game down for you right here. Let's take a look and see how that
Hey,
went.
graphic.
And it did not go well. Avon Smith passed for 155 yards and 3
I don't think I
touchdowns.
have
Cam
the
Davis
football
rushed for
package.
Yeah, I know.
5
That's
rushes for
what's rendering
3
now.
yards.
Oh, it's rendering.
Anthony Chickett passed for 138 yards and a touchdown and yards and 2 interceptions. He was knocked out of the game with a big hit. Jake Simmons had replaced him in that one, and Dylan Smith had 1 reception for 75 yards, second play of the game. And let me just tell you, Sam Goldberg was
Tell me when
by me.
to
I
take
took
this
the
out.
trip up there. He was going wild on that one.
The next
Yeah,
thing we
absolutely.
have
You know,
is the
just
football
unfortunate
package, but that
the
clip's not
quarterback
ready.
play didn't seem to live up to what we thought it would, and Colonial's fall to 0-2. Michael Deemer now joins us to talk a little bit more in depth about this Miami of Ohio loss. Michael, first of all, thank you for joining us. And
Can you take just his camera?
Oh, there.
hey, there's Michael Deemer. Michael, first question for you. Did either quarterback show improvements? We're talking about Anthony Chickett and Jake Simmons.
I mean, I didn't see any improvements, but also didn't see any regressions either. I mean, we did see Chickett throw 2 interceptions in the first half,
just don't
so
use the double
I mean,
box.
definitely not what you want to see there. But he also did not play a bad game either. He did get a little bit banged up in the first half, so Jake Simmons took his place. Jake Simmons went 8 for 13. I believe, yeah, he went 8 for 13. He threw a garbage time TD to make it 31-14. So I definitely don't think it was improvement, but I also didn't see any regressions either. Definitely, probably plateaued a little bit since the Dayton game.
So I wonder if this next question also kind of aligns with the fact that they were facing off against the MAC team. Where has the running game been with Elijah Jackson and company?
Elijah Jackson has definitely struggled a little bit ever since probably the last part of last year and going into this year too. He has 66 yards on the year after the 2 games, and he has an average of 2.5 yards per rush. So definitely not what we want to see in the Colonial favor, but it definitely has been a struggle for the rushing attack the entire season and maybe a little bit parts of last year too. And what is supposed to be his breakout season, Elijah Jackson was supposed to be.
Switching sides now to the defense. Michael, the team gave up 31 points to Miami of Ohio. Did the defense take a step back in your opinion?
I definitely think that it was a little bit of a plateau again for the defense. The defense, obviously allowed 31 points to an FBS school, which I believe is an improvement from last year. They allowed 45 against Central Michigan, so I definitely believe that it was a little bit of a maybe improvement since last year, a 31-14 game. Coach Clark said that there was no more victory when it came to that game, but in my opinion, I definitely think there was.
Well, Michael, thank you for joining us, and the Colonial football team falls to 0-2. And if you want to catch some recaps of the football team and all of the other athletics programs on campus, then go to colonialsportsnetwork.com. All of the writers and editors have you covered. They provide a platform for student-produced sports content, including previews, recaps, podcasts, and feature stories, everything about RMU athletics. Colonialsportsnetwork.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at RMU.
Two shot after this, Bailey, and then lower third graphic is at the break.
Nice toss, Mike.
Going to
When we
break.
come back, we got volleyball. Volleyball was in the action as well, man. Couple street sports are in the headlines. Find out why right here.
Yeah, the graphic was 5 Colonials drafted. I was going to take it.
Yeah, that's
Close.
Need to be for 15 seconds.
Me too.
All I need is
I know. That would have been a commentatorship.
Oh, I didn't like that
Enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m. Then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/RC to make sure they're in the right place.
1 minute left in rehearsal.
I don't know if I have it downloaded right now.
I'll check
I didn't know if
If not, what other games you got?
It's the last thing in there, he says. The last thing is in there. So that's good to run, and then we'll have football ready to go.
Alright, Bailey, we're gonna, no jib bump on C3. Don't worry about that. But we have a full screen for C4, C6, and C8. And Bailey, we're just gonna do solo on Kevin, solo on Colby, then solo back on Kevin.
played it when it came out, let alone.
I don't want to talk about it.
Ball.
Yes.
I never finished that game.
Families
don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for emergencies.
I never finished
Get
it.
tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
2, 1, back to the
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. We're switching gears to the hardwood as the RMU volleyball team was in action, and they took a road trip to Moorhead, Kentucky to compete in the Comfort Invitational as they took on the North Alabama Lions for the opening match of that. Let's see how they fared. And as you can see, they continued their winning ways, winning 3 sets to 1. Allie Crispin with 16 kills. She's really coming into her own lately. And Abby Ryan with 24 digs. Katie Floyd with 13 kills for the Lions. And Elif Ozsoy with 3 aces and 30 assists.
I just realized
Colonials were able to take on Colby by score 3 sets
They're just gonna see me break.
And as Kevin was just talking about, the volleyball team started the Moorhead State Conference team.
C6.
With the win of
Cam,
Moorhead,
turn up Colby's
next up is
audio.
The host Eagles of Moorhead
How does his
State.
mic get
Let's see if they
lower
can
every-
beat one another.
C6.
And they did. They won 3-2. Abby Holzman had 20 kills. Bridget Bressler
Bailey
had
back on a
53
solo on
assists.
Kevin.
Allie Christmas is having a heck of a tournament. Kevin, 20 kills, 2 aces.
Now the Colonials were looking to go for a sweep in the Comfort Invitational as they took on the Quinnipiac Bobcats in the
Quinnipiac.
final match of that tournament. Let's see how they did. And they went with the clean
We
sweep,
have Doherty
3
sound
sets
bite
to 1.
90
Eddie Monaco with 15 kills and 13 digs. I feel like she's kind of the leader, been the leader of this team all season. Abby Powers with 6 blocks. Alexandra Tennant with 16 kills and 1 ace for the Bobcats. And Dan Lagunes with 35 assists. The Colonials sweep the Moorhead State Comfort Invitational.
Ethan caught up with Danny Doherty. Kevin.
Now, our very own Ethan Morrison sits down with first-year head coach Danny Doherty to talk about the volleyball team. Ethan, take it away.
Oh, it's been a process since the beginning. We didn't know how we were going to end up through preseason. Through 3 weeks, we're actually
Alright, we're gonna solo on Colby after this.
quite well in comparison to where we could be. So those are big positives. But we just didn't stray from the path. Like we lost the first 2, and we knew that those were games that we could have competed a little bit better in. And then we had but we had Albany, and we played arguably our best match of the year against them. Really put them in place and didn't stray from the path. Even when we took the L against Willow and Mary, we just got back on the horse and kept moving. And here we are. Oh, it's been great. Tobey's been an unbelievable asset to us as a program, and she's helped set that culture. And it's just understanding that it starts at the base. And just reminding them that you stray from it, we take a break and we're like, hey, this is what we're supposed to do. This is what we are about, and we just kind of move from that baseline. It's inevitably going to happen that you take some lumps and you stray away from it, but as long as there's a constant reminder of what we're trying to accomplish and what we're trying to do, it's pretty easy to live through that culture.
Thank you, Ethan and Danny. Now, as we all know, the men's lacrosse team is known for setting places. And our first pick for lacrosse team this week broke down who made the NLL draft. Maddie, take it away on Saturdays.
Thanks, guys. As you heard, Robert Morris men's lacrosse is historically known for their players getting drafted into the National Lacrosse League. This past Saturday, the NLL held its 2022 entry draft. 5 Colonials were selected within the league. 4 of those selections came in the first round. The first of the 4 to be selected in the first round was 5th-year midfielder Will Johansson. Johansson was selected 7th overall for the Albany Firewolves. Next up was 5th-year defenseman Owen Down, who came in at 15th overall, selected by the reigning NLL champions, the Colorado Mammoth. The Panther City Lacrosse Club next selected Colton Lidstone in Fort Worth, Texas. The 5th-year midfielder was selected 21st overall in the entry draft. The last pick in the first round, also a Colonial, was a 5th-year attackman Taggart Clark, who was selected 23rd overall by the Philadelphia Wings. Matt Duncan, who transferred into the Robert Morris program from Scarborough, Toronto, was selected in the 4th round, also by the Albany Firewolves. As the draft concluded on Saturday evening, Robert Morris was again well represented at the 2022 NLL entry draft. These 5 draftees will join a list of RMU men's lacrosse alum in the NLL. Now let's send it back to Kevin and Colby.
Thanks so much, Maddie. We're going back to the hardwood, and the Robert Morris men's basketball schedule was recently announced. Let's take a look and see who they will play and when they will play. There's the non-conference schedule. Big game here, Colby, at Ohio State, November 7th. I know it's going to be a big game. That was Kentucky last year. Now they're
We
going
can just hot
to
switch
Columbus
it on
this
to
year.
the women's basketball.
At Dayton,
Okay, let me know when.
Yeah.
Colonials just faced them in football. Now they're going to face them in basketball as well. Central Michigan, Marshall, Mount St. Mary's, the big rival, former rival from the NEC. St. Francis, you have the Mercer on there, Evansville, Pitt Greensburg.
I was going to
Overall,
say.
it's a very nice non-conference schedule for the men's basketball team.
I was going to say, as a man who was born near Greensburg, I'm looking forward to
I
seeing
thought he
the
was born in
Colonials there.
Colorado.
But against Ohio State, this game, they pull off the upset. The Indianapolis Colonials will be off to a good start.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to switch sides to the women's basketball team. Finally broke through and hosted some playoff games last year. Now let's look at their non-conference schedule. Of course, you got St. Francis, George Mason, Waynesburg Free School, Lane Jesuits, Akron, Canisius, West Virginia, and Oklahoma, which are 2 tough games, Kevin. Winnable, but going to be tough. They do that, and St. Bonaventure, and some news as well.
So take it out to a 2-shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be tough to win some of those games, especially at WVU and
And then when he
Oklahoma.
starts
2
talking
Power
about sending
5
his break,
schools,
put in
and
that
without St.
graphic.
Castro, it's going to be tough. But when we come back, it's time for top 5 plays, and we're going to be talking just a little bit more football. Stay right here on Colonial Sports Center.
Okay.
Do you want to meet a fan with a transgender kid? Here we go. Max lives to Max. Max lives to
I've always wanted to go to one of their
I
games.
didn't even know they existed.
When I found out I was pregnant, all I really wanted was a happy, healthy kid. And that's what I want. I think it's really important that we know that
Buffalo,
trans kids
now we're
are
ready to start
Philly,
they are just
D-block
kids.
football
Like
pack.
the
any parent
Panthers,
who loves
Albany,
their child.
Yeah, we're gonna start
New
with
York
the 2-shot,
Titans.
and then we're gonna go into the football pack.
Minnesota.
She's in work right now.
Not yet, I think. Oh wait, Colorado, 7. Is it? NLL probably.
45 seconds.
The Wings disappeared for a hot minute.
But they're headquartered there.
We told you never to touch the gun.
Oh, I don't like this commercial.
Store your guns.
So mention just like
30.
All I heard was happy music and then.
that commercial was really
In class, they were watching.
There's freaking videos in
So these commercials
That's Texas.
15.
15 seconds.
15.
Rochester.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Colonial
football
Sports.
package
As
is
I
in
said earlier, we
for
were
you.
going to show you some more about the Miami of Ohio game. We had some technical difficulties, but that's okay because we have it for you now. As I said, the drive up to Oxford is 5 hours long, and how would I know that? Because I was there with Sam Gilbert and Michael Deemer. So let's break down more of the Colonials matchup against the Red Hawks. Let's take it away.
Nothing quite like action. And last weekend, the Robert Morris football team got a chance to compete in something as they took on the Miami of Ohio Red Hawks. The Red Hawks claimed to be the winningest program.
Bailey,
and when they put up Tigger
when they
Stadium
come
in
back,
Oxford,
2-shot,
Ohio,
we're going to talk
you'll
about
see
the
it
game a
posted
little bit
all
more because we
over
need
the
to fill
state.
some time.
Proud history
And
of
then
the
we'll
Red
get
Hawks
you
all
back. When you
over
hear
the
them
state.
mention top 5
Saddle
players,
years,
ready to roll
full
on
game
top.
victories, and retirement. including Ben Roethlisberger, former quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Red Hawks truly showed the history they have in their stadium. The action began in the first quarter with a slow burning quarter, as the Red Hawks began the game with a field goal.
You're not playing the audio.
76
Yeah,
yards
okay.
on their
Of
second
this.
play of the game, and then punched it in.
I was gonna say you're not
Red
playing the
Hawks
audio of
answered back
that.
with a touchdown to lead 10-7
Did it for
and
that one.
in the first quarter. In the second quarter, the Red Hawks took
I got
as
nervous
they
for a
added
second.
2 more touchdowns. The quarter only got worse for the Cardinals, as with their second to last possession in the half, quarterback Anthony Chickett took a big hit. He played one more drive, but would never return and had ice in his arm and a saline for the rest of it. JUCO transfer Jake Simmons would take over in the third. He would take some shots downfield, but never connected for the end zone. The defense showed up, played well, and shut out Miami in the third quarter. The Cardinals had one more shot to pull off the upset. In the fourth quarter, not much happened as both teams would score. Army scored on the final drive of the game as a multiplier to set the team up. Goliath would not fall to David on Saturday as the Red Hawks won 31-14. The Colonials have a bye week this week, but will be back in action on September 24th as they take on Eastern Tennessee on Parents Weekend. For Colonial Sports Network, I'm Colby Sherman.
2, 1, 2 shot.
Colby,
And
that
then
was
I'm
great
putting this
in-depth
clip in
look
for
at
you.
the trip to Miami of Ohio. Now, as you mentioned at the end of that, the Colonials do have a bye week, and with some of the injuries they've sustained, especially to Anthony Chickett, I think they're going to need that week to rest up and come back home and face
The
East
games
Tennessee
to watch
State.
are
What do
full
you think?
screen
Yeah, we
graphics,
talked
right?
to Bernard Clark after the game. He said it was time to rest up and heal. He liked what he saw a little bit, some things he wanted to work on, mostly offensively, but he was pretty proud of the match, of what the Colonials put on the field. Also, Aiden Smith, who was the quarterback, is not actually a starter. Blake Gabbert, who was the starter for Miami, Ohio, was hurt against Kentucky. That was Aiden Smith's first career start, and he looked pretty good.
Yeah, he did look pretty good. Now, with the Colonials, there were a couple offensive flourishes, you would say, a pass to Dylan Smith over the middle that got them just inside the 5 that would eventually allow for a punch in. But, I don't know, like, the run game definitely needs to improve, like we talked about earlier with Michael Deamer. But definitely a good bye week. It's always good. You can rest up and come back stronger than you were before.
Yeah, it's always a good time to have a bye week, especially now. But I think they're going to get it going. In a
I
little
think
bit.
so too.
Now,
sorry, go ahead.
Now it's time for the top moments of the show for the top 5 plays of the week.
Absolutely. Top 5 plays of the week. The best part of the show. Number 5. We're actually going to go to Yager Stadium. Miami of Ohio has a 17-7 lead. Avion Smith, Colby just mentioned it was his first start of the season. Well, this pass sure showed it, because where was it going? Into the sea of white jerseys. Sidney Oninger, and he's going to return this past midfield. As you can see, he gets a slew of blocks, and it goes past midfield. Just a great defensive play for the Colonials.
He was fired up when he got that interception. But I talked about this earlier. Watch Darren Armstrong go. A little tipsy-do for him, and he'll knock it into the net. 1-0, and Kevin, this was so nice. Watch.
Oh,
Make
it
you
was
go
so
the other
nice.
way, put you on skates and score.
It's so nice we've had to see it twice as we move to number 3. Back to football. Anthony Chickett fakes the handoff, and he throws it over the middle to a wide open Dylan Smith, and he is going to, hopefully, if you were a Colonials fan, you were hoping that
This
he
man
would go
turned around
all
3
the
times.
way.
He could have
But
made it
just
if he didn't.
marked down at the
They
2
caught
and
it,
eventually
caught it in the
result
end
in
zone,
a
though.
Colonials touchdown.
He
Take
looked
the
back
early
a little bit in the run, and that's what kind of got him caught. But back up to the North Athletic Complex Center. Paloma Swankwich going to give it to Kayla Belosa, and she's going to score. The Colonials will take the lead. And look at this pass, Kevin.
Yeah, just an absolute beautiful alley-oop, one-time goal, whatever you want to call it. Just perfect. And goalkeeper flick right into the crossbar. It's okay. Number 1, men's soccer corner kick makes its way in the middle, and Kevin Ramirez scores to break the tie. The Colonials would hold on and win 2-1. They get their first conference win.
Now, I know before the show we had looked at the top 5 plays, and we were a little upset that that 79-yard reception was not number 1. We talked to producer Nathan Brestinger, and actually he made a good point. Those 2 goals were game winners, and that's why they're above the reception.
Yeah, very true. And, you know, I think it would have been a little bit higher if Dylan Smith had actually made it into the end zone. Like you said, that look back might have cost him a couple of yards, and that's what stopped him from getting in the end zone.
Now, how about we take a look at what games we think we should watch this weekend, Kevin?
Well, I think the women's soccer team is of note as they travel to Wisconsin to take on
Do Kevin
the
first, do
Panthers.
Kevin first.
Sunday,
Oh, Kevin first? Okay.
At 2 p.m. They look to continue their unbeaten
Go ahead,
ways. Haley finale.
And then
You
we're
just
gonna pause.
you can't not
Into Colby's.
Yeah, we'll
after
watch
his player
switches.
to watch.
Okay.
3 goals, 8 points this season, leads the team.
Kevin.
And my player to watch for Milwaukee, sophomore Kayla Rollins, leads the Panthers in goals with 4. Colby, what about you?
Now I'm going to keep it in the women's sports. The volleyball team is off to a really great start, and I think you should watch them. They'll be at John Wolf Hope Community Center in the Boys Creek Invitational, and the player to watch is Amy Monica. She's been the leader of this team. We were talking about who's going to replace Emma Granger. 90 kills, 2.81 kills a set, and she has about 110 points this year, and pretty big tournament for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's really nice to see the resurgence of this
Alright, you can take it out.
team, the volleyball team. You know, the men's soccer team gets their first win at Northern Kentucky. And, you know, despite the football team losing, there were still some signs of life, especially against the MAC opponent. You know, it's hard to win against the MAC opponent.
I really liked what I saw from the defense. Bernard Clark has that defense right where he wants it. I think they're putting a lot of pressure. Avon Smith did not look comfortable a lot in the pocket. He had a lot of time sometimes, but when they brought the pressure, they got to the quarterback.
That's right. And, you know, we saw that one pass in the top 5 plays, that interception. You know, defense has done a really good job. Michael Deemer talked about it earlier. The defense has done a
We
good
should
job.
talk about how women's soccer was ranked
And I really
last in
like-
Horizon League, and we already wrote 1-0.
Elijah Jackson, I apologize for forgetting his name. Elijah Jackson, he needs to get going. This team could be more of a ground and pound offense, but I mean Bernard Clark, there's no moral victories. I think the
This
game
is a
against-
moral victory.
I think the game against Miami of Ohio was a little bit of a moral victory. QB play aside, hope that the QBs can get some rest heading into the bye week.
Men's soccer.
Yeah, and we talked about the so-called last year. I think it's still a problem, but we're going to move up to the men's soccer team. Congratulations on finally getting their first win of the season. A big one for top
At Milwaukee.
And they'll be Saturday at Milwaukee trying to 2-0 Horizon League play. What do you think they need to do to get a win?
I think they need to give the ball to Chase Gillies. I mean, the Co-Horizon League Player of the Week, 2 assists. I think he's the one that you kind of want to build your team around for Saturday.
Oh, Bobo!
Well, thank you so much for watching Colonial Sports and for everybody upstairs.
Almost forgot.
Down here. He's Kevin McClatchy. I'm Colby Sherwood. We will see you next week.
Thank you, Colby.
Go UMBC retreat.
I should have for athletes, that's it.
Me too, that's why I'm still here. I just have to find a problem.
Ziggy was texting me before so long. Everything else.
Really, you can decide.
I'm good.
Oh my god, I never signed the one for game show.
Were you doing anything?
Single, Virgin Bailey. I never signed a game show.